Hey, welcome! Today, we're going to tackle that feeling we all get sometimes. That frustrating gap between where you are right now and where you desperately want to be. We're going to look at a pretty powerful shift in perspective that might just change everything about how you see your own progress.
I mean, you know the feeling, right? You start something new, maybe a project, a personal goal, a new habit, and you check in after a week or maybe even a month, and you just kind of look at it and think, really? Is that all I've done? It can be so discouraging when it feels like the effort you're putting in just isn't adding up.
And here's the thing, there's a reason for that. We have this natural tendency to stare at the huge finished goal, the absolute peak of the mountain. So when we look down at our feet, those first few steps we've taken seem tiny, almost completely pointless in comparison. And so we end up despising our own start, judging it against a finish line that's still miles and miles away.
But what if we're using the wrong measuring stick? What if the real value isn't just in reaching the destination, but in the simple act of starting the journey in the first place? There's a completely different way to look at this, one that finds massive value right where you are, in that small, humble beginning.
This whole idea really hinges on this incredible verse from the book of Zechariah. And let's let that sink in for a second. It doesn't say he rejoices to see the work finished. No, it says he rejoices to see the work begin. The celebration, the actual joy, it's in the start.
And this comparison here just lays out the shift perfectly. Look, on our side of things, we get totally obsessed with the size of the result, right? And how fast we're making progress. But this other viewpoint, it flips the whole thing on its head. It values the obedience of just starting, the faithfulness you show in the process, and that simple, powerful willingness to even begin.
So what this really means is that your value, and the value of what you're doing, isn't being saved up for some big reveal at the finish line. No way! The joy is found right now, in that first act of trust, that first step of faith, that first moment you decided, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm going to start.
Now this isn't just some nice, fluffy thought. It's actually rooted in a real story. A story about a group of people who were feeling seriously discouraged by their own small beginning. So let's dive into where this actually comes from. So picture this. The original temple, built by Solomon, was this magnificent wonder of the ancient world, and it was completely destroyed. Decades go by, and a small group of exiles finally gets to return home to rebuild it. But when they lay the new foundation, it's nothing compared to the glory of the original. It looks small, weak, and honestly, super disappointing. They were, in that very moment, despising their small beginning.
And this is where that other part of the verse becomes so critical. It mentions seeing a plumb line in the hand of their leader, Zerubbabel. Now, a plumb line is a really simple builder's tool. It doesn't build the wall itself, but what it does is make sure that the wall starts straight and true. It's a symbol of starting the work the right way, with real intention.
And boom, that just illustrates the entire point perfectly. The people looked and they saw a pathetic little foundation. God looked and saw a plumb line. He saw that the work had begun correctly, with faithfulness. So what looked totally insignificant and small to human eyes was, in reality, the very foundation of something powerful that he was building.
Okay, so that's a great story from thousands of years ago. But what on earth does a plumb line and an ancient temple foundation have to do with you right here, right now? Let's bridge that gap, because this gets incredibly personal.
I want you to think about the small beginnings in your own life. That new business idea that feels like it's barely making a ripple. That goal to read more when you only get through a few pages a day. Or starting that creative project that just feels clumsy and awkward right now. Trying to live healthier one small meal at a time. All of these, every single one, they are your foundations. They are your plumb line. So here's the game plan. It's pretty simple, actually. Step 1, just stop despising where you are right now. Step 2, actively look for joy in the process itself, not just the outcome. Step 3, stay faithful in the small daily things. And finally, step 4, trust. Trust that these small steps are exactly what he uses to build something great and lasting.
And here is the absolute best part, the ultimate encouragement. You are not on this journey by yourself. The same God who rejoiced to see the work begin is fully committed to seeing it through to completion in you. Your faithful start, that small, maybe even shaky step you're taking today, it matters. It matters so much. In fact, it's the beginning of everything.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. What small beginning in your own life have you been looking down on? And how can you shift your view, right now, to start celebrating it today?